Hey there, welcome to episode 66 of Common Knowledge, where we look at some common Magic the Gathering cards and tell you if they are good in the Pauper format. This is take two. This is the last time the internet was not working, and this time, okay, maybe we're doing a little bit better here. We'll start with Brightwood Tracker. It is 3 and a green for a 2/4 Elf Scout. You can pay 5 and a green, tap it, and look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card from among them, put it into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Pretty bad. Pretty bad. Everything costs too much here. 4 mana for a 2/4, not amazing. 6 mana to look at the top 4 and find one creature card. And here's what you do instead. You're in green. So you do Winding Way and you play 2 mana, you can look for creatures or lands. Also look at the top 4, then put the others in your graveyard. That can be helpful too. You do lead the stampede, and I mean this one is uncommon, but it is uncommon. Look at the top 5. You can reveal any number of creature cards, put them into your hand, and the rest on the bottom in the library in any order. So, like, those are just better cards that are cheaper cards. Sure, you can only do them once, and you could potentially do this more than once, but you got to put a 2/4 on the table for 4 mana. That's taking up your turn 4 right there. And then, unless you've ramped somehow, your turn 6 is now using this ability and then doing nothing with it and only getting one creature card and putting it in your hand. That's so much mana. That is such a ridiculous amount of mana. Even in like 2020 core set limited, I would never play this card. It's so much. I guess I would not. I guess it would be potentially played. It's a mana sink if I'm super late in the game and I'm looking for something. But oh, that's really bad. I'm gonna give this a 1. I'm gonna give it a 1. It's a pretty bad card. You would never play it in Pauper. You just have so many better options in every aspect. Better elves, better green cards, better ways of finding creatures. This is bad all around. Next up is Slavering Branch Snapper. It's 4 and double green for a 7/6 lizard with trample and forest cycling 2. We've seen a couple of land cyclers, and they're all kind of bad when you consider the Lord of the Rings ones that can cycle for 1, land cycle for 1. So you use your generous and 10 times out of 10 over this thing. But if you already have 4 generous ents and you want something more, I suppose you could use this thing. It's still not terrible to pay 2 to go find a land. And this finds any forest, not just basic forest. So that's kind of useful. And then it's just a better Crawworm, right? It's 6 mana, same cost as a Crawworm, 4 and double green. But now you get the Scaled Worm. You get Scaled Worm body off of Crawworm cost plus trample. That's just shows how far Magic has continued to evolve here. But still, you're generally not playing this, mostly because the forest cycling costs too much. If it was forest cycling 1, this would see Pauper play all the time. We'd have to have an argument of whether this is better than Generous Ent. And I think it would be a halfway difficult discussion. You'd choose one over the other in different scenarios. The Generous Ent makes a food when it comes in. It's got reach. Those are kind of helpful things. But also, this is a 7/6 with trample. That's all right. But it being forest cycling 2 instead of forest cycling 1 kills it dead. Just dead. Completely dead. Kind of wild. It's still a halfway decent card. I'll give it a 2. 2.1, in fact. But it's just never seen play. And basically any of those land cyclers that cost 2 to cycle, all dead. All extremely dead. Because those Lord of the Rings cards are just too good. Just too good. Scar is a single hybrid Rakdos mana, so you can pay a black or pay a red. For this instant that says put a -1/-1 counter on target creature. Interesting. Kind of cool. If you have proliferate effects in a Pauper deck, this is This can be better than a lava dart, I suppose. Although the lava dart you can flash back and you can kind of use it twice, and you're in black and red. You're in colors that can kill things probably more efficiently than this. Are you gonna you gonna play Scar? Or are you gonna play Lightning Bolt? Are you gonna play Scar? Or are you gonna play? I'm trying to think of a black one, like a Grim Bauble. I guess Grim Bauble is technically better than this in a number of ways. This is instant speed, but it's. Yeah, I think you do have better options, and unless you're in some proliferate deck, and even then, you're gonna have to do the proliferate to get more than the 1/1, and how many turns does it take to actually kill that creature? I don't love it. Let's give it a 1.8. Indomitable Will is 1 and a white for an enchantment aura. It's got flash, and it enchants a creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+2. You could look at this one, this Theros version, but I would obviously rather the Champions of Kamigawa version. That's my boy right there. It's not great. It's a holy strength that you can play at flash speed, but you had to pay an extra mana for it. We don't, or did I say holy strength? We don't play holy strength in Pauper, and we also don't really play Indomitable Will in Pauper. There's just better auras. They're way better auras than this. And we'll give it, the flash speed's all right, but I think it's still like a 1.4, 1.3 maybe. This is nothing to write home about. Even though Champions Kamigawa. Collateral damage is a single red mana for an instant. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sack a creature. Collateral damage deals 3 damage to any target. All right, we got a lightning bolt that sacks. I don't think that's that bad. It is sacrifice a creature. If it was sacrifice a creature or artifact, that would be amazing. Think about sacking blood tokens to this. I think you'd see burn decks use this a lot more often. I don't see burn decks use this as much. I suppose I have seen it played in Pauper, but not a whole lot. It's certainly not a staple. But I think it's really close. It's really close to one. If you're already playing a burn deck that plays 4 lightning bolts and 4 chain lightnings, you have some other options like shocks and stuff like that. This is technically better than shock. If you got creatures with death triggers on them, infestation sage kind of things that make 1/1s when they die, or there's like a scorpion that when it dies it deals damage to an opponent. There are options out there to make this pretty good, but it's tough when this is kind of the copies 9 through 12 of Lightning Bolt, and I think your burn decks probably figure out other cards to play once they've already gotten their 8 copies of Lightning Bolt and Chain Lightning. So it's close. It's close, but it's not quite there. And I think Lava Spike too, like Lava Spike from Kamigawa. Burn decks sometimes play that. So now, I mean, that's 3 damage only to players, but still, that's it's tough. It's tough. It's really tough to break into Pauper these days because there's just so many cards from so many eras of Magic, and some of those cards are really damn good. This one just being damn good is not quite good enough sometimes. I'm going to give this a 4.4. It's a solid card. It's quite a solid card. And I just don't think it quite breaks into Pauper playable because there's so many other good options. Damn, sorry. Coughing through this whole thing. Crash of Rhino Beetles is 4 and a green for a 5/5 insect with trample. This creature gets +10/+10 as long as you control 10 or more lands. I recently saw this on a Commander show. I can't remember which one it was. And thought, and that's a common. You could put that in a Pauper deck. Originally, this was a rare This was rare, and then it was a rare online, and then Commander Masters came, and I went, nah, this is just common. Always love the downshift from rare right down to common. Not even taking it to an uncommon, not even testing it out there. It's fine. It's fine in common. That'll be okay. And I think it is. It is just okay because you having to control 10 lands in Pauper's fast enough that controlling 10 lands is not really going to happen all that often. And a 5/5 with trample for 5 is kind of no big deal. Honestly, even a 15/15 with trample for 5 is kind of not a big deal with the amount of removal that we're able to get in something like Pauper. Blue decks can handle this pretty easily with bounce effects or unable to scream. White decks and black decks can just destroy this creature. Red decks obviously have an issue with that. And green decks, I suppose, would have difficulty if they can't match it. But I think it's just too slow. While it does work as a pretty big finisher at some point in the game, that point in the game is pretty late to the point that you'd rather just have other cards that can come in and do the damage faster than that. So we'll give this I'll give it a 2.9. Not quite a 3, but a 2.9. Next is an uncard, but it is an uncard that is playable or legal in Pauper. So we will take a look at it. Crow Kid Amphibinaut is 4 and a blue for a 4/3 frog guest. This creature has flying as long as you control a stickered permanent. Okay, I don't know a whole lot about Unfinity. I have some Unfinity cards. I have not played with Unfinity cards. I don't even know how I got the Unfinity cards I got. I know there are some cards that say put stickers on things. This card does not. So you can't, if you're just playing this as a vanilla card in your, you don't have any other sticker things. This is just a vanilla 4/3 for 5 mana, which is pretty bad. Even pretty bad for blue cards that generally don't have very good creatures in them. If you were able to give it flying because you had a sticker on something, maybe you're playing. I know there's a goblin that can get stickers on it when it comes into play. I'm sure there's plenty of other ways to get stickers on cards. I don't know. I haven't seen this played in Pauper. I don't think it's really Pauper playable, even if you got the sticker on it. I think a 4/3 with flying for 5 mana is not quite there. And I just wouldn't touch it. I'll give this a 1.3. I'll give it a 1.4. 1.4. Still pretty bad, though. You hear something on watch is 1 and a white for an instant. Choose 1, rouse the party. Creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Or set off traps. This spell deals 5 damage to target attacking creature. Cool little modal spell here. You know, you either get an Anthem effect or you get a nice removal effect, 5 damage for 2 mana. Even if it's a target attacking creature, 5 damage is still pretty darn solid. This can take out Tolarian Terrors. This can take out Cryptic Serpents. This can take out Mirror Enforcers. This can take out a lot of big stuff in the format. Gurmag Anglers. So this is not nothing. This is pretty good. And if you're in a white weenie deck, swinging out and giving everything +1/+1 if you need to at instant speed can also be a real blowout. There's some heat on this card. There is some heat on this card. I haven't actually seen it played. And there are a lot of white modalish cards that do similar kinds of things to this. You know, maybe it's a protection spell and something that deals damage to target attacking your blocking creature, or it's a 1/1 counter, or do something like this. But we've seen a number of these. I don't think this is the best one of these, but it's not bad. Not bad. There was actually one in Spider-Man too that was pretty good. Spectacular Tactics. Let's just gotta spell it right. Spectacular Tactics. There we go. That's 1/1 counter on target creature you control. It gains hexproof until end of turn, or destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. I'd probably go with this one more often than not. I think the 1/1 counter plus hexproof is really nice in some matchups, and then being able to just destroy a creature can be good if they're making it exorbitantly large, or you're playing against like a Generosent or something. I think that card is probably just a little better than this one, even though I think this one has some use, especially if you're in a white weenie deck where you would play that first mode. I think most other decks are going to want Spectacular Tact, or they're going to want something else completely. There's other cards that do similar things. I'm just comparing a relatively new card to something here. Still solid though. Still solid. I will give this a 3.3. Not a bad card. Drannith Stinger is 1 and a red for a 2/2 human wizard. Whenever you cycle another card, this creature deals 1 damage to each opponent, and it also cycles itself for 1. I don't think this is too bad. There's a lot of cyclers in Pauper. Cycle Storm is even a deck archetype. I believe this gets played in Cycle Storm. I would imagine it kind of has to be. I don't know if I've seen a Cycle Storm list recently, but you got to imagine this guy's in here. I mean, it's a grizzly bear that does more stuff. It's pretty good for red. I don't mind that. And it can cycle itself. So if it's not going well for you and you just want another card, cycle 1. It's great. Just cantrip. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, I like him. I don't play a Cycle Storm deck. I'm not really a cycle guy outside of the 1 mana Lord of the Rings cyclers and like blood tokens or something, which is not really cycling, but it basically is. It's a good card. Well, let's give it a 5.6, knowing the deck that it goes in probably really wants it. Next up is Arcane Subtraction. For 1 and a blue, it's an instant. Target creature gets -4, -0 until end of turn, and you learn. It's from Strixhaven. So learning means you can go find a lesson card that you own from outside of the game. So in Pauper, that would be in your sideboard. Put it into your hand, or you can rummage. You can discard a card and draw a card. We looked at all of these learn cards when Avatar came out in our big Avatar look at all the commons, see if any of them are any good. Avatar has a lot of lesson cards in it, but no learn cards. I imagine we'll probably get more learn cards when the next Strixhaven set comes out later this year, and we'll kind of reevaluate lesson and learn at that point. But this is one of the worst learn cards. There's other ones that you'd play in blue. I think there's one that draws a card and then learns. You'd play that over this all the time. And other colors have better learn cards than this one as well. The learn has gotten a lot better with the Avatar lessons, because the Avatar lessons are just way better than any of the Strixhaven lessons. Almost completely. There's maybe like 1 or 2 Strixhaven lesson cards that are okay, but at this point, there's just so many really good ones in Avatar. So there is some value to this, I suppose. But again, you should kind of always just be playing the other one. I think it's called Pop Quiz. That one draws a card and you learn, and I would do that over the -4, -0. That's just not great. 2 mana to blank a creature for 1 turn. That's just not enough. That is just not enough. We'll give this I mean, it still does tutor in a way, or at least I guess it doesn't replace itself, but it does rummage. So you do get a new card out of it at some point. So it is a little bit like a cantrip plus the effect. But you should play the other ones instead. So we'll give this a 2 and know that it's a pretty bad 2 because the other ones are better. Let's give ourselves a bonus card and then get out of here. Joel Rael's Centaur is 1 in double green for a 2/2 Centaur Archer. It's got Shroud, which means it can't be the target of spells or abilities. And it's got flanking. So whenever a creature without flanking blocks this creature, the blocking creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Flanking is a cool ability. And I understand why they don't put flanking on more cards, because it is a little bit confusing. It also is kind of a feel bad if you have like a 1/1 that's blocking, or anything one blocking this guy, that creature dies before combat even starts, like before the combat damage even happens, and that can be pretty bad too. If you have like a 1/1 death toucher. No, you don't. Not anymore. Like you didn't death touch anything because it got the -1/-1 before it even was able to do a combat. Shroud's kind of interesting. It stops this from being something that you'd put in like a Bogle's deck, because you can't target it either. Hexproof is the one where you can still target it and your opponent can't. So it's just kind of a 2/2, in some ways a 3/3 because of the flanking. It's interesting for a card that is basically French vanilla here with 2 keywords on it, but nothing else. I don't know. It was in a World Champ deck, so somebody played this and played it well. But I don't think it's not some Pauper All-Star or something. It's not some hidden gem, but it is a solid card. A solid card. And I'll give a solid card 2.5, I think. And we'll call it there. Thanks for joining me on this one. We'll see you next time.